what's going on, everyone? So today we're going to be replacing the handlebars on my wife's Lectric XP step-thru. We're also going to be putting on a set of, not a set, just one mirror on the end of the bar here. And I'm also going to show you guys a quick, easy way to get the hand grips off, which is one of the hardest things about changing the handlebars. So the handlebars that we decided to go with are a little bit of a step back, kind of like a swoop back cruiser style, but nothing too drastic, because I wanted to be able to still keep the foldability of this bike. You can see them here in the background. I still wanted to be able to keep the good foldability of this bike, but she wanted a little bit less reach to the handlebars because she still felt like she was just a little bit too far leaned forward. Even though she seemed okay in my opinion, she has a little bit of lower back issues sometimes, and I think these handlebars are going to help her out. So we're going to go ahead through the steps here. It's really quick and easy to change, and let me know what you guys think and what your opinion is down in the comments if you think you're going to upgrade yours. I'll put a link below in the description to everything I have here, including the bar end mirror, the handlebars, and also the grips that I'm going to be installing today. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the most important part. If you guys find this interesting or helpful, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and that bell so you get notified of any future videos. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into it. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you the reach difference between the old bars and the new bars. So basically I have the back tire up against my gutter here because it's a nice straight hard point, and I got a piece of black tape here on the siding of my house. Now I'm going to measure this before and then after I change them and see what kind of distance we get. And I'm going to keep the handlebars straight here and keep the bike straight. And I have these factory handlebars rolled back the maximum they will go to the for the shortest reach. And I'll show you guys here how you can adjust that to gain a little bit of reach when I take these off. So with the factory handlebars, measuring from my siding to the outside of the hand grip is about 48 1/4 to 48 3/4 on the throttle side when the handlebars are straight with the bike and measuring straight back. So what I'm going to do is change them, and then I'll get the measurement on the new one and see how much we gained or lost basically on the reach to the new handlebars. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to show you is the adjustability that you do have on the factory handlebars. So if you loosen the two bolts of your display with a 3mm Allen wrench, you can go ahead and turn your display down, which allows you to get to the two bolts that hold your handlebars on right here. Now you can loosen these two bolts up on here that bolts it to your steering stem, and then you could basically rotate your handlebars and it will give you either less reach, or you can roll them up here to give you more reach. Now after you do this, you're probably going to want to adjust your hand grips and adjust your controls and your brake levers and everything, because they're going to be, if you went way up here for more reach, you're going to be, you know, like this, trying to hold your brake lever and your shifter and everything's going to be all out of whack. But once you get them to where you want them, just go ahead and loosen your brake levers and your shifter and everything like that, and roll it on your handlebars to get it to where you need it to be. So like I said, I had my wife's back here. Factory, it comes pretty much straight up and down, somewhere around in there. So I was able to roll this back and get her maybe like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of reach. I never really measured, to be honest. Let's see here. Had them rolled back. Maybe somewhere around 1/2 to 1 inch. Alright guys, so now the first step is getting the hand grips off. Now when I first changed the hand grips on my bike, they were a pain in the butt to get off. Now you can lift one corner up and maybe spray like a WD-40 or something like that under there to get them off, or some rubbing alcohol or something, and just keep twisting. Basically, I didn't use any lubricant. I just pulled on them from here and worked them off on my original bike. But I found a way easier way to get these off. Now, I'm no mechanic or anything, so just take all these steps and do all these things at your own risk. If you're not comfortable with doing these modifications, make sure you take it to a bike mechanic and have them do it at a bike shop. The quick tip and trick is an air compressor, and I got a blow nozzle one here with a little tip that fits in this hole. Now if you pressurize in this hole and hold the hole on the other side of the grip so the air doesn't get out, it actually expands these grips just slightly, and you're able to get them off really easily. You have to twist this one to kind of break it loose, because it's, I think they're on there with maybe some kind of glue or something. But you'll see here, once you put air in here, just a little bit, you don't want to go too much, it'll basically push them off. The problem is, once you get the one side off, you don't want to take it all the way off until you get the other side off as well. It's kind of hard to do here with filming. Let me see if I can push this on far enough to get the other side off. If I had one more person here to pull the trigger on the air compressor thing, it would be a lot easier. There we go. All right, so a little bit of air pressure, pop both of those off. There's no slicky stuff on the handlebars from having to spray anything in these or anything. Real easy to reuse these. If you were to go to put these back on, you're going to want to put a little bit of maybe rubbing alcohol, or you could do the same thing the same way. Put them both on, use some air, maybe a little bit of rubbing alcohol or something in there. You can slip them on, and then once it dries, it should secure them pretty good to here. So there's the first step. All right, now you're going to want to measure this side on your throttle side, because you want to be able to install the throttle on the new handlebars the same distance in. That way it matches on each side. So we have 2 and 13/16 here from here to the end of the bar. So that's what you're going to want to install this back on the new one. So basically, tool-wise, all you need is a 5mm Allen wrench, a 3mm Allen wrench for the display, and a Phillips screwdriver. So the next step basically is going to be to remove the throttle, the shifter, and the brake levers and on-off controller off of these handlebars. Now to do that, basically you just loosen up the 5mm bolt here on the brake lever. And then on the shifter, you have a Phillips screw. Just loosen that up. And then on the other side, whoops, where'd that spacer go? So there's a little spacer that goes in this throttle here. Make sure you don't lose that. That's so your hand grip can butt up against there and still allow it to turn. So make sure you take that out and do not lose that. Okay, there's a small Allen wrench in there. It looks like it's going to be smaller than that 3mm. Let's see here, maybe 2.5. It looks like maybe a 2.5 will work on that. So loosen that up. And you basically just want to get everything loose and just slip it right off the handlebar. Then you want to do the same on the other side. And actually, I'm probably going to measure that as well. So we have 4 3/8, basically 4 3/8 on that side. So we just loosen the brake lever on this side with the 5mm. Then we're going to loosen the on and off button here with a 3mm. Okay, now I'm going to take the handlebars off of the stem by taking out these 2 5mm. And I believe there's Loctite on these, maybe. Yeah, there's blue Loctite on these bolts, so if you want to put blue Loctite back on them when you put them in, probably recommended so that they don't loosen up. And if you guys don't know, blue is more of a basically non-permanent, so that you can remove it easier. If you use red Loctite, it's more of a permanent and holds better, but good luck getting the bolts out after using red. And I'll put a link below for Loctite too, if you guys are interested in picking some of that up. All right, now you take your 3mm bolts out of your display here. Take those ones completely out. All the other ones you don't really have to take completely out, you just have to loosen them. Now once you get your 2 bolts out of there, you can go ahead and spread that enough to slip it up over your handlebars here. Be careful not to open them too much, because you don't want to break these. And then you slide the other side off. So here's the old ones, and you'll see that pretty much that's the max reach you'll get with the old ones, and the new ones should give you this much less of a reach and put your handles at more of a, in my opinion, a natural angle than having to be like this. So I think these are going to work out pretty well. And actually, width-wise, you may gain just a hair. It's not going to be too much on width, but it will give you, in my opinion, that better holding angle, and also more of a rollback on them. Kind of angles them down just a hair too. Now, one thing to note, if you guys are upgrading your handlebars, the main thing that you want to make sure of is that your clamping area here in the middle is 25.4 millimeters. Like I said, I'll link below in the description of these ones that I purchased off Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so if you guys do use that link, I will make a small commission at no extra cost. But if you decide to go with a different one, you need the clamping area to be 25.4. I believe they make a 31.6 or something bar. That would not work with this. You have to use the 25.4 millimeter. You'll see, I think, right there. Not sure if you guys can see that or not, but let's go ahead and start putting these new ones back together. And now, one thing to note, guys, it does look like the new handlebars, which are on the right hand side here, they are at least the same quality, if not maybe just a little bit thicker than the originals. It's really hard to tell, they're so close. So keep that in mind. It should be at least as good as the old ones here, I would imagine. That was one thing I was concerned about, because these are aluminum. You can get steel handlebars, but I wanted to keep the bike weight down, but I still wanted something that was going to be durable, nothing really cheap. So I'm hoping these will work out, and if I have any problems with them in the future, I'll put it down in the comments or in the description if I had any problems. But so far, it looks to be like they're at least the same quality. Alright guys, so now the installation is basically the reverse of the disassembly. You want to make sure you put your on-off on first, then your left brake lever. Now don't tighten anything up, just get it on far enough to where you can get your display on over top of your handlebars here in the center. And then you want to slip your shifter, your other brake lever, and then your throttle over the right side. And then you can go ahead and reinstall this back onto your stem here. Now, once you get your handlebars at the right angle that you like, you can go ahead and tighten your bolts up on your stem there, and then reinstall the bolts in your display, and then put it to where you like to have it as well, and tighten those up. All right, now you want to install your throttle and also your other brake lever at the same measurements that you had before you took it off. On the throttle side, it's 2 13/16. So get that to where you need it and tighten it up. All right, guys, so the new silicone foam grips that I got are slightly longer than the original. So basically, I'm just going to line it up here to the bottom of the grip and put a little mark. And then we're going to see where that mark lines up here. I reset this brake lever to 4 3/8 like it was before. Going to line it up, and I'm going to give it just a little bit extra. And we're going to cut this about right here. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors for that, because these are silicone foam grips. Should cut fairly easy. Not the straightest cut, but it'll do. We're going to go ahead and put a little bit of water in there. Smear it around. Maybe throw a little bit on here. Just enough to get it to slip on there. Then we're going to just slip the new one right on. And work it on, pushing it from the outside here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just leave it just slightly long. That should work. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and trim up around this, try to taper this edge here, because you don't want that edge rubbing on your throttle, and you don't want your throttle to get stuck. So I'm just going to go ahead and taper this around just a little bit with these scissors. A little bit of water on there, and you'll see how I just tapered it just slightly. Then don't forget to put your spacer back in here and slide that one on. And you'll see how that taper right there just keeps it just enough, you know, away from pushing up against your throttle so that it doesn't get stuck. And I think that looks pretty good. It matches the throttle height there pretty good. Then you just go ahead and put your end plugs in. Now these are just cheap silicone foam grips that I got from Amazon, and I'll put a link below to a few different ones of these. I think Wolf Tooth makes a good one, and some other ones too, but the cheap ones are just fine as well. I'll put links below to a couple different ones, and you guys can choose which ones that you want if you want to upgrade to these. Alright guys, now the last thing I'm going to do is install this half-knee bar end mirror in my handlebars here. Now I like putting it on the left hand side, that way when you're riding down the road or something you can look in your mirror and see if any cars are coming. Also, when riding with my son, it makes it easy to see if he's behind us, what he's doing while we're on the bike trail and stuff like that. Now you don't need this piece, this is for a bigger bar. So basically you just slip this end in your handlebar here, and then you tighten up the 5mm bolt here, and it tightens up in here. Now you can put this whatever way you want it, and then adjust your mirror. I like to keep them angled down slightly, that way when they're not in use, I could just fold them in like this, and I feel like that gives me the best adjustability of it. Now these mirrors come in different sizes. I went with the one that was slightly larger in diameter to make it a little bit more easy to see, but I didn't want something that was too big. This, I believe, is a 68mm one. The lens on it is 68mm. Stainless steel glass, so that it, well, it's not glass, it's stainless steel mirror, so it won't break. Now it is a little bit, I don't know, it kind of plays tricks on you a little bit when you look into it. Not too bad, but it's definitely better than not having a mirror. And I've seen a lot of people go with the ones that bolt up here and come out, but the problem with those sometimes is they don't stick out far enough and you end up seeing your shoulder. These will get it out past your handlebar just slightly, and really low profile, compact. When you fold it up, you can fold it in there so that it's out of the way, and when you're using it you can fold it out here and adjust it however you like. So I seem to like this mirror. It's worked well on my bike, so I got my wife one as well, and like I said, I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same measurement I did in the beginning. Got the bike up against the gutter, handlebar straight, going from the same place I measured from before, and the end of the grip is about 45 1/4 to the outside, so that's about 3 inches shorter of a reach, because we had 48 1/4 before on the outside. And then all the way up here by the throttle side we have about 47 3/8, which is about 1.5 inches or so shorter on that end. So you're going to gain a minimum of 1.5 inches, and depending on where you hold the bars at, you can actually gain a little bit more than that. So you're at least going to gain 1.5 inches of reach with these bars, and in my opinion it's actually a little bit more of a natural, you know, the way you hold versus this, so it does make it a little bit more comfortable in my opinion. Now for foldability, you can have the bars almost all the way out to where they barely clamp on, and it'll go in as far as you can get it when you have the handlebars angled the way I do, because they'll angle underneath the bike there, and they'll angle kind of underneath the fork and won't hit the fork, and it'll suck it in as, you know, that'll be the max that you can do. Just watch your display. I still have room between my tire and the display the way I have mine angled, but if you were to have the bike, you know, normally all the way up in, when you fold the original bars, it will hit your forks here. Now this is all going to depend, like I said, on the angle that you have them. For me, it hits my bars here, but I can adjust them, like I said, and get them to go in a little further, or adjust them all the way out and get it to go way in down here. Or, I mean, if you really need maximum foldability, you could always take them out and, you know, stick this up in here or whatever. Just make sure your display doesn't get busted. Worst case scenario. So, I mean, you do lose a little bit if you don't want to remove your bars like this. You do lose a little bit of footprint on the foldability, but it's not too bad at all in my opinion. All right, now let's fold this bad boy back up and take it for a ride. Now, one thing I want to show you guys is, I hope you guys all know what this is, this lock. If you have this style of locking mechanism on your handlebars, make sure that this is locked into here so that this can't come open. All right, guys, trying a new handlebars out for the first time. Up through the yard. Oh yeah, I kind of like it. I really like it. Seems like definitely a more natural feel, more like a cruiser style. Basically kind of like a cruiser style handlebar versus trying to be like this while you're riding. I mean, I never really had a problem with the original ones either, but these are kind of nice. I really do kind of like them. Little woods ride here. Let me turn back around here. I think she's really going to like them. So when she gets back home, we'll throw her on here and see how her posture looks with these new handlebars. Yeah, definitely more like a little bit of a cruiser style. Nothing too drastic, but overall, yep, I like them. All right, guys, now here she is with the original factory handlebars here, and you can notice the angle of her back with these handlebars and the reach on her arms. These are still the same original handlebars. I mean, in my opinion, she didn't look too bad, but she was slightly leaned forward. And here she is with the new handlebars. You can see how she's sitting upright just a little bit more and doesn't have to reach so far. It's not a huge difference, but it definitely does feel a little bit more comfortable riding the bike. What do you think?
I just took a spin around the yard and already these handlebars feel a lot better.
Awesome. Alright guys, she gives them a thumbs up, so I hope you guys found this interesting and helpful. If so, please subscribe, hit that bell, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos. I will definitely see you guys around on the next one. Thanks for watching.